My name is Oliver Smith. I work for the EOA and welcome to the virtual network meeting for April. The purpose of these meetings, if you haven't been to one already, is giving our EOA members an opportunity to learn and connect with one another. So over the next hour and a half, you're going to have an opportunity to learn about a presentation from an employer business called TensCare. And also you're going to be able to network with one another using breakout Zoom rooms that will do so at about 11:45. So how the format of today is, I've already alluded to what's going to happen first. So we're delighted, absolutely delighted to have Karina from TensCare, who's the International Sales and Marketing Manager. And she's going to deliver a presentation on empowering employees to become employee-owned. Karina will tell you a lot more about the business than I will, but TensCare has been employee-owned for about 4 years. It's been on a journey that's a positive one, incredibly successful. And she's going to share their approach to how they engage with the employees, how they got their buy-in to being employee-owned, and what they've done to make them feel and act like owners. So I'm going to welcome Karina in a minute, but before I do, let's talk about the purpose of these meetings. So I would just encourage you to get involved in a couple of ways. If you've got questions for Karina, please just post them in the chat function. We've all used Zoom far too many times, so I'm sure we know how to use it. Post a question, and then at about 11:30, we'll do a Q&A with Karina, and I'll ask as many questions that you're posting as possible, and we'll utilise the time that we've got with her. We're also joined by a number of Karina's colleagues from TensCare. So when we go into those breakout rooms, you'll be able to ask them even more questions to find out more about the business. And the final way to get involved is through those breakout rooms. Get into discussion, get into conversation, and contribute to what's being said on those topics that you've selected to discuss. Just because you say something doesn't mean to say you're an expert, but you will have insight to share. And what we'll try and do, we'll get you away for 12:30. Right, so I've given you the spiel as to how it works. Hopefully I've built up TensCare and Karina sufficiently. So what I'd like to do is just hand over to Karina, and she's going to share her screen with you shortly and run through the presentation with you. Thanks, Karina.
Thank you, Oli. Thank you so much. Good morning to everyone.
All right.
Just gonna start sharing. Okay, just make sure. Yeah, share sound. Thank you very much for that introduction. Yes, I'm Karina. I'm a proud employee owner from TensCare, and we're gonna just give you an introduction of our journey of these 4 years. Much in TensCare, we like to always ask for questions: who, what, why, and how. And of course, I can just explain more about that, but I would just like to share this short video of who we are. And before I do that, if you can just please identify on the screen this happy, proud, smiley face next to the O is Neil Wright, our managing director. It's important for you to remember because I'm going to mention him during the presentation. I think it's important.
TensCare Limited is a Surrey-based business and market leader in the UK with its successful portable TENS units for the relief of acute pain during childbirth. The company has expanded its offering, focusing on electrical stimulation in the healthcare market, providing innovative solutions for problems from pain relief of chronic pain to pelvic floor muscle rehabilitation. In 2017, TensCare became employee-owned. This means every TensCare employee is a stakeholder in our business and is dedicated to providing reliable, safe, innovative products to answer our customers' needs. Being ISO and FDA approved, we offer safe, clinically proven electrical health and beauty products. Our committed approach to research and development allows us to increase our product range. Currently represented by trade partners in more than 40 countries around the world, we are driven to reach new markets and help more customers improve their quality of life. Having exceeded our 5-year target of £5 million turnover in just 3 years, our young team is well on its way to achieving a new target of £10 million turnover. Since our expansion into East Asia in the last 2 years, we have experienced an unprecedented period of growth. We're now the top performing brand in the mother and baby category on Tmall Global, and in May 2020, TensCare won Tmall Mother, Infant, Parent, Child Most Innovative Brand Award. COVID-19 has proven the adaptable nature of the business. With our whole team working from home, we place great importance on our own mental health. Focusing on the well-being of the team has ensured the company has continued to thrive in these difficult times. A dynamic and growing company, we know the positive difference our products make to the lives of hundreds and thousands of customers around the world and the benefit this has for both them and their communities. TensCare. Feel better naturally.
Thank you so much for your time. Something very important to mention about this video, one of our colleagues who is doing her internship with us, within 3 weeks joining the company, she helped us to put this video together, and for us was impressive to see how good she could capture our essence and culture. As I said, Neil was the one who was the ambassador and helped us to be introduced to this new world. He couldn't say anything before because he signed a contract of no disclosure agreement, and of course was a surprise for everyone. Something I like to say is that we were in a process of changing the chip. Like the previous owner was someone who was controlling a lot of the decisions that we were taking, and Neil started changing that, saying like, okay, you can take decisions, and with his leadership and with his guidance, help us to be more self-managed. Of course, at the beginning, as many of you are very familiar with that, there's resistance to change, like, why should I be engaged? That was not my decision. Why should I care? Right, so we started like implementing new things. One of them was the networking events that the EOA organized. We start inviting people. Let's go. Let's just see how it is. At the beginning, no one wanted to go, and we start nominating. It's okay, come with us. And it was very impressive to see as well that they were very happy once they were back for that event, that they were bringing ideas. They could explore and see different perspectives of different businesses. So it was very good. We understand as well that 1/3 is always engaged. So we try to focus on those to how to make it more contagious with the rest of the with the team. We have our first port of trust, help us to build this bridge between the employees and the directors. We're in a very fortunate positions because the directors are very approachable. So as well, that's helpful. At the beginning of the business, we create the share incentive program where we explain to all the employees, we said like, okay, this is an opportunity for you to have and hold a share. What was new for us was like unknown benefits, and trust me, I'm part of it, and I'm so happy to be part of this. Not only because of the money, but as well like give me that incentive. We actually welcomed Peter Matthews from Capital for Colleagues on 2018 as an external trustee. Trust me, one of the best decisions that we have made. He always helped us in so many ways to pretty much give us the perspective or the different angles of decisions that sometimes we want to take and we really don't know if it's the best. So big shout, thank you so much, Peter, for helping us so much. I'm so sorry, someone can mute the rest of the people. I would appreciate that. Thank you very much. Something we, of course, as a business, we have already our core values. And what we have done is with the owners, with the exercises, just to see which values they have. And of course, it was impressive to see that they were very aligned. And one of them that we, not one of them, but most of them, we actually add them to the core values. And one of them are caring. That's something as well you have seen as well probably on the video. And after that, what we have done is on our recruitment process, we not only promote the EO culture, but as well we make sure that this exercise is done so we can see if those values are aligned as well with us and make our business stronger. Once the new member join the company, we let them settle down. And then what we do is like sessions one-to-one, directors or trustees, to explain our culture, our mission, our vision, and as well to make sure that they understand since day one who we are and where we're heading. Of course, we implemented different things like Employee Owner of the Month Award, brunches. We applied twice for Rising Star on the EOA Awards. And the last time we applied, we were highly commended. We were very, very pleased about that. We love doing charity. Every quarter, owners allocate one foundation or organization that they want to donate money. Since year one, we celebrate our EO Day like big time. We go to the Londoner, we have been on mini golf, we went to on a hiking trip to the Lake District, and as well we embrace it with our distributors, and we do events as well with them. We're very proud owners, and because of the nature of our business, we travel around the world with different exhibitions. And something that we do since year one is to actually include that we're proud to be an employee-owned company. And pretty much what we do is not only attract attention for new people that are coming to our stand, because once they ask, they don't know what it is, we explain, they actually like it and engage immediately. But as well as a reminder for our current partners that when they're talking with a member of TensCare, actually they're talking directly with an owner, and they will always try to take the best decision for the both parties, of course, and make our partnership stronger. Of course, another positive effect for us was the growth as a business. We managed to open 2 branches, one in China, one in the US. And speaking about shares, in 2019, Steve Thurley was our investor and helped us to purchase the business. And in that time, we were very comfortable financially, and we managed to pay back the loan that he had before time. So that's why we went up to above 61% of the shares. And in 2020, again, Steve Thurley, who still held some shares in the business, we as well were in a very comfortable position saying like, you know what, we don't want in the future that there are like extra hands being involved in our business. So what we were gonna do is actually buy those shares. So now we are nearly on 90% is held by the trust, as including the SIP, as I mentioned. In 2017, I was number 17 employee, and now we're nearly 37 people, expecting that by the end of the year, we will be above 40 people. Engagement, of course, it brings open communication. And what we have done is do a member session, it's called. It pretty much is every 4 to 8 weeks, and it's hosted by the owners. Directors and trustees are not involved. We decided to do this just because sometimes we need to give that freedom to let them be more outspoken. So we have this, I feel like an owner. These are things that they were said on those member sessions. I like that my voice is here. The ideas that I share and approve that are implemented, and there's the feeling of belonging. You can see here our Happy Doris, that is our regional manager based in China, that even she's miles away, she still embraced the culture of the EOA. This year, and pretty much last week, we welcome our 4th trustee, and we open nominations to any employees. We didn't mind that they were new. The reason behind is because we wanted to make sure that at least one trustee will have 10 people looking after and make our engagement stronger, and as well that bridge that we are trying to build. And that was something that we have seen very, very positive. In TensCare, we treat you as an owner since first day. It doesn't matter that you, of course, for us, you need to be 6 months in the business to be eligible to get the benefits of the EOA, of course. But for us, we treat you as an owner since day one. 5 to 10, as you have seen on the video, we managed to reach our target in less time. So what we are doing since 2019, last year we were very close to get to 10, but we do this meeting 9:55, which is 5 to 10. And it's an opportunity to announce like the well done, highlights of the week, and year-to-date figures. Of course, a pandemic happened, and what we have done is the profit for 2019 that we split across the 2020. What we have done is hold the payments because we were in uncertain times, so we didn't know. Something that we noticed is that on the member sessions, the owners start saying, like, actually, I'm prepared to hold payments in the future if it means that we're gonna reinvest on another business, on another premises. For us, was very, very nice to see that they're like with a very mature mind. And that's what we do, like financials meetings, when we pretty much open the balance sheet and explain row by row where we have spent and everything. Mental health and workload as well was very important for us to keep an eye, especially now in a pandemic that was new for everyone. And something that we noticed is that people, when we have this program that they can contact like anonymously, they actually came with us and say like, you know what, I feel depressed. I don't know what's going on. I don't know, I feel like down, or I have like extra work, and they ask for help. For us, was really good to see that. The communication, I think everyone has experienced this was affected. The information was only shared between the departments. However, for us, it was very positive to see that there were solutions provided by owners to gain back that communication. I will explain later. Working from home, for some companies was difficult. For us, was the opposite. Was pretty much the best year ever in TensCare Life. It's a consequence of the hard work as well of our team. And as a company, we have pretty much evolved, and now we're becoming more hybrid. At the moment, people were moving back to their homes, and we have people from Ireland, China, New Zealand, Taiwan, Wales, Isle of Wight, and soon in Canada and Singapore. Of course, we're trying to keep the motivation up, and we have different dynamics. This year, we celebrated our EOA Day with a masterclass online doing cocktails. We gave 1 day off when we reached the 100 days of lockdown, and we have done Run to China and Manchester Run. Later, I can explain what it is, but it's pretty much looking after the well-being of the employees, and we did other things as well. Positive effects, as I said, of course, there is now initiative from owners, and what they have done now is like they share projects before to the presented to the directors. We select as well the names of the products that will be launched. We do this exercise ideation. It's brilliant. If you haven't tried, trust me, it's worth it. Pretty much it's a round of people talking about a specific subject where you share with the person next to you, and then the person that is on the other side will give you that idea and then will help you to probably boost and bring more ideas. It is really nice. Now we have tea breaks that is pretty much every day, and we talk about everything and anything except of work. It's like pretty much the water cooler kitchen moments that we have. Ring the bell, we call it. Before in the office, we literally have a bell where ding, 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 everyone will come together and we will announce something. Now it's pretty much an email. Quote of the week, every Monday, one owner will share like a motivational quote that will give us that extra boost that we need for the Mondays. And now what we have done is share the links of the meetings of the department, so everyone is welcome to join, and the communication is stronger, so it's not like, I didn't know. So that's very, very good. Another positive effect is that we are creating new leaders because the owners now are taking leadership of projects. They feel very confident sharing ideas, and once they're approved, they implement as well the changes. Reward of these, we always say that they're happy owners, the productivity will be higher, and that means that we will have like a more successful business. Another thing that was positive for us to see is that on the online, even on the phone, they call us and say, oh, thank you so much, one of your colleagues was amazing, thank you. That for us as well is a boost to see that actually employees are giving the extra mile as always. And of course, the winners of awards, we have been awarded during these 4 years of many of them. Recently, we were awarded with one of the biggest one that was for us. Unfortunately, we cannot announce it yet, just because of the unfortunate death of Prince Philip. But hopefully tomorrow we'll give the news. And one phrase I like that Neil Wright, our managing director, says, and I think is just a great resume of this, is at TensCare, we understand that you work for everyone else and everyone else also works for you. I think it's just brilliant. And because in TensCare, we always say sharing is caring. We like to share the ingredients that for us has worked on the recipe. First, be patient. If you think that you were patient, you need to be more. Be consistent. You find something that works for you, for your business, keep doing it. Remember, keep doing it. Remember, it's always a cycle. You will have probably new employees that you will start to from scratch to again engage with them. Remember to work with the people that are already engaged. They will help you to bring that back. Invest in your employees. Probably TensCare will like to invest a lot, but we see that positive effect. And trust me, you don't need to spend a lot of money. Just be creative. You know, no one done better. Sorry, you know better than no one your business, so you will know what will work as well. And the last and most important, be enthusiastic and be energy and have energy on that. I'm a proud owner, and I just invite you to really put the t-shirt on and say, I'm a proud owner, not only today, but pretty much every single day. It's contagious, remember that. And just on behalf of TensCare, I just want to say cheers. Cheers for this EO culture. Thank you very much.
Karina, thank you. And I think a perfect way of you coming towards an end using the words enthusiasm and energy, because you just embodied that completely, and you are clearly a very proud employee owner. So I congratulate you, and I congratulate the team for what you've achieved. Really good. So we've got some questions coming in that I'm going to pose towards you, if that's all right. So the first one's coming in from Lisa Edwards. She's really keen to hear more about the member sessions put in place. So specifically, who structures or chairs them if it isn't the trustees? And is it easy enough to get engagement from the team on those?
At the beginning, we did the member sessions, and of course, we just nominate people randomly. And we have seen with the time being that sometimes the host, they are not that engaged. So obviously the meeting hosted is not that fruitful. So what we have done lately is we choose people that we believe that they are fully engaged, helping us to host those meetings and get the input. And what we're trying to do is put in like an agenda. Before we were like open questions. But what we do now is actually we put some bullet points to discuss. So you have like a better way to really engage better. And what we have done as well is like, okay, try to ask one-to-one, because when you're in a Zoom meeting, when you have 5 or 4 people, they just don't want to talk. As you said before, it's like they don't feel that brave to probably say something. So we're trying to pretty much ask a question to one-to-one, and that will help us. They're not, as I said, they're not hosted by the trustees or the directors, but then afterwards we have a meeting with them and we get all the feedback, them to pass it to the directors, and then we implement the changes when we can immediately. Otherwise, we just put it on the bullet point for the future.
Okay, and I imagine then it's the engagement with the employees to get them involved in that. It's a gradual process. It's not going to happen all from day one, and it's probably over time that you're going to get more input from them on it. Okay, thank you for that. I've got a question that relates to it. So the information you said about sharing financial information with the team, has that been challenging anyway? Has there been any understanding about what, say, turnover, profit, the information that you're sharing? Has there been a few people scratching their heads, or have you communicated it really clearly? And if you have, how have you done?
To be honest, I mean, our finance director, she always tried to send information in a digestive way. So yes, we opened the balance sheet, and pretty much this week is happening, where we explain, okay, this is the profit, this is where we invested, this is where we are saving money, or maybe because of the pandemic, we're not traveling that much, so we're saving on this, but that will mean that we can invest in this other way. So we try to make it more easy to understand. Of course, there will be questions, people that would like to go there. A key is focus on the people that are numbers driven, because they like to know more about that. So once you have them, and you have other people, then when they make questions, then the other ones like, oh, I didn't know that, but I mean, I didn't. Yeah, if that makes sense.
It does. So do you get questions that you're not comfortable, or the team aren't comfortable in sharing the answers of, such as if somebody said, I'd be interested to know what everybody earns, salaries. Do you get any questions like that? And if you have, how have they been dealt with?
To be honest, we have, I mean, as far as I know, we'd never asked that question of like how much everyone earns. I think on that, probably TensCare is more like quiet about it. But we do say how much of the profit dividend will be allocated. Not specifically to each person, but at least everyone is aware of how much is allocated.
Thank you. Fantastic. So next question coming in from Rona. How is the output presented to the trustees and the directors? Are they looking for input, or is it more of a push from the owners?
I think it's a balance. Sometimes they come even to one of the trustees. I'm a trustee, so sometimes they come and will say, Karina, by the way, I feel like this is a good idea. And then that means that I will share with the trustees, and the trustees then will share with the directors. Sometimes, I mean, even one of the interviews that we did recently for the 4th trustee, we said like, how comfortable you feel when we need to challenge the directors of something. And we're like, well, if it's a benefit for everyone, yes, I'm prepared to do that. So we are trying to make them more mature of saying like, you need to speak out. Otherwise, there is no point. On the member sessions, even I said to them, it's like, I would love to hear one day that we're perfect, that there is nothing to improve, but that's not the truth. So just be aware of that. Tell me what it is. So we're just trying to do that. Recently, we did something that is like called like a box of suggestions. It's online. It's a type form. If you want to do it anonymously, you just put what you want to say, and that's what will help us probably to see if they don't want to say it aloud. And it's normal. It's the nature of the human. So.
Okay, I guess it's behaviours, isn't it? It's like you said, it's trying to get people to feel comfortable in a different role to potentially challenge directors or their bosses in a different way than they've done so before. Thank you. Iqbal, your question, this recording will be available afterwards, so we'll be sending that to everybody that's attending. So from Lisa Fryer, how has employee ownership been a part of your recruitment process as your numbers have grown so much recently?
Yes, as I said, what we do is when we interview people, we explain first, we're an employee-owned company, and we explain actually what does that mean for them to really understand. Some of them is like, oh, I never hear it. Sometimes like, yeah, actually, I know this on your website. And what we do, as I said, we do the exercise values just as well to make sure that they're aligned. And we make sure that they understand since the interview that is not something that it will be a surprise for them. Because we're very proud about that. So hope that answers the question. Sorry.
It does, thank you. Well, I guess it's been, have people come to you because you're employee owned, do you know? Have you ever asked that question when you're taking somebody on?
If I'm honest, I'm not sure. I want to believe yes, but might not be really yet that even we advertise it everywhere, but I really don't think it's the case. One day.
Next question, going from Alan.
I'll answer that by saying I think people stay, Ollie. I think people stay. It's a retention as much as anything. I think if you're unfamiliar with employee ownership and the ethos around it, then you're just taking on a job. When you get into the company and you understand the benefits of it and the values that it cascades out, then I think that encourages people to stay. So I think it's got a strong retention value.
Yeah.
Thanks, Neil. That was Neil Wright, by the way, who's the managing director.
Yeah, sorry, I just can't
like
keep
the voice
quiet
of God for anybody that couldn't see you then, Neil. This question from Alan. Did any of your team not want to engage with the initiatives, but did they want to receive any benefits? So did they want to engage, but they were happy to take away the benefits?
Of course, we have had people like that. And it's pretty much the people that we were hearing like, why should I care? It's not my decision. What we have tried to do is, because now we have more new people, is because they are pretty much like easy to mold. I mean, sounds a bit grotesque, but if you understand what I mean, it's easier to engage them, and then will help us to make that people the less one on the business. And what we do is we just respect it. We don't try to push them and then put it on their face, be an EOA proud owner. It's just like,
I see. Okay. So similar question for me and Marshall. So you said there was the third of the employees engaged at the transition. So what do you think that is now in terms of that percentage of people that are engaged and maybe some that aren't, not disengaged, well, they might be disengaged, or maybe not fully on board. And how do you measure that? How do you know if it's a third or a half?
We do surveys. Actually, we're now, it's coming to the time that we will do another survey where we try to make sure that, okay, what's going on. I think for now, it flipped. Now it's 2/3 and it's 1/3 that is not engaged. We need to be honest. I mean, that's the truth. But again, if we are like energetic, it's what we're trying to do. As well as something that I would like to say, it's important to have on the trust someone that is very energetic, like someone who really engaged. Because if you have someone that, yeah, well, today I'm gonna talk, sorry, but it doesn't work.
No, it's an interesting, I guess, an interesting one, because there's a company called Union Industries that did a video for us. Some people might have seen that at EO Boost, and they basically said that there's 20% that are on board, they're engaged. There's 60% that are in the middle, they're spit sat on the fence, and there's 20% that are pulling in the other direction. And they say it's always like that.
Yeah.
Karina, for you then, do you guys focus on those that are engaged in order to hopefully bring the others with you, or do you focus some attention on those disengaged people as well in order to try and, I'm going to use the word convert them in order to be more positive? How do you approach it?
We do it both ways, but of course we focus more on the one that are fully engaged because it's easier for us to do that. But when the people that are not fully engaged, we try to approach different. Rather than like be engaged, is actually we nominate them to do things, so they need to be part of it. And one day maybe they will realize, actually I enjoy doing this, so why should I not be engaged? So it's approaching differently with those people.
Right, fantastic, thank you. So a question here from Simon Carter: how much time a week is devoted to maintaining communications and engagement? And he's given examples such as preparing briefs for meetings or holding meetings. So how much time do you think might be given?
Something that we always say as a trustee, you work from Monday to Friday as a trustee. It's not like, oh, just today because we have an event, you know. For us, it's Monday to Friday. But for example, we have the quote of the week. Every week we have the tea breaks that are 15 minutes roughly. We have the 5 to 10 that sometimes is like 15 to 20 minutes. I think it's a lot of time that we invest on that, and people will see probably weeks that maybe there is not a lot of emails from the trust or the directors, but we try that at least every week is something announced. And as well, not only about the EO culture, but as well, if we announce our big successes, then as well, they will feel part of it. It's like, oh, I am actually part of this company that is like, is doing good. I'm part of that, and I'm part of it as well. It's a balance, I guess.
Thank you. And just so everyone, we've got about 3 or 4 minutes left for Q&A with Karina. So if you've got any more questions, do throw them in, and I'll see if I can get as many answers as possible. So next one that's come in from Jeremy Gadd: are there a minimum engagement expectations required from the employee owners?
In what sense? It's like,
I guess so. I think, well, Jeremy, do you want to explain your question a little bit more if you come off mute?
Yeah, that's happy to. Thanks, Ollie. Yes, so you've talked a lot about the benefits, and it's really, first of all, it's really exciting and engaging presentation. So thank you for that. And it feels like there's an awful lot that people benefit from. And I'm wondering if, therefore, there's a minimum expectation that you're asking people as beneficiaries of the employee ownership model that you have to participate in, whether it's to share ideas or to fully participate, or are you happy to let those that don't want to just to carry on without any expectation?
As I said, with the people that they are not fully engaged, it's just pretty much try your best, kind of. For the people that are fully engaged, of course, there are expectations where we would like to hear more ideas coming from them, that they take leadership of projects, because sometimes something that we like is that the TensCare, it doesn't mean that you need to be a manager to really take on board one project. Anyone can do that, and that's more like embrace the culture of like, I'm an owner, so I'm prepared to take that step. I don't think it's like that we need to put like from 1 to 10, I need that you would always 10. Is as well, we understand that different moments as well for the personal life of each of them. Sometimes you are depressed, sometimes I don't know. It's so many things that you need to consider, and you cannot sometimes take it as a whole, but you really need to understand with the people that they work closer with those members how to approach. So I don't know. It's tricky. I must say it's tricky, but it's as well exciting to see that. Just keep trying.
Yeah, that's really interesting, Karina. What I'm hearing is actually what you're doing is you're putting your efforts more to encourage those who want to be engaged more, exactly, rather than spending too much wasted effort on those that don't want to be engaged. So that's really helpful and insightful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So next question for you, Karina. How have you measured your success so far? I like that you mentioned your productivity and profit when looking at the benefits. To what extent have they then improved as a result of ownership? So your success, how much would you put it down to being employee owned?
I think some of the things for us, as I said, is hearing great reviews from the customer service means that the employees are giving the extra mile. And for us as well, the awards, knowing that as a business, we're growing so much that we are pretty much, our profit is bigger and bigger every year, that we have to hire more people because we need extra hands. That for us is probably the best way to measure that the business is stronger as never before. And that's, of course, is in combination with the EO culture, because we try to make them happy. As I said, if you invest on the employees, you make them happy, and anyone, if he's happy, it's like, I just get paid for making something I'm passionate about it. So we try to do that as well, and focus on people that as well. They ask us like, well, I would like to do this course or do this training. Yeah, go for it. I mean, it will be benefit for you, but it will be benefit as well for us. So we do try to invest on them.
Thank you. And Neil's offered to add some insight to that as well, Neil, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I just thought I'd just add to that, because we have seen a strong growth in productivity and profitability. And maybe I just go back to the sort of one of the final slides. Great presentation, by the way, Karina. Always a great ambassador for us. Thank you. But on one of the slides, you said about sharing is caring. You put up a recipe, and there is a recipe for employee engagement, and it's a simple one. It's a very functional thing with HR. HR needs to recruit people that have got the skills that can do the job required, or give them the training, and then explain where their job fits in with everybody else's job, and where everybody's job fits in with the mission of the business. And it's very, very functional. Commitment, though, is something different. Commitment is not entirely functional. It's about creating connection, creating the bonding within the team. And that is done through the brunches, lunches, tea breaks, that sort of social connection, that people need that bond to be committed. So you can have a team of engaged people that perform well, but if you want a high performing team, you need committed people. And I think that, Karina, what you've presented today, I can't imagine anybody on this screen not feeling that you are an engaged, committed employee. It makes me very proud to see that, actually. But that, when we talk about productivity and profitability, I think EO brings an additional layer to that level of commitment, because it's not just a financial reward. There's a emotional output, where it's a social dynamic to work. And I think that if people feel engaged, that they've got purpose, that their team are committed to them, that they're encouraged and cared for, that is actually almost more important. Well, it is more important actually than the profit line, because the profit line will follow if people are committed. So the question of measuring productivity and profitability, I mean, if we sort of go back the 4 years, four years ago, we'd been in business 25 years as a business at TensCare, making, I don't know, £100,000 a year profit for the previous 10 years. So fairly modest profit. And in the last year, we recorded a £2.6 million profit. So the change in ownership has definitely added a layer to that sense of engagement and commitment. So it's measurable in terms of its output. It's very difficult to measure people's individual level of engagement. We do ask about how they feel about employee ownership in their appraisals as well, and it's something that is part of our recruitment process as well. So it's something that is a message that's interwoven within the culture of the business. Sorry, I've gone on my soapbox a little bit there, Ollie. I'm not sure if I actually answered the question or not, but
you answered the question and more, Neil, which you often do. So thank you for doing that. And Ian Marshall's asked a question about the appraisal process. Just quickly then, so how do you include, for Karina or Neil, since you joined us, how do you include getting understanding levels of engagement through the appraisal process? How do you do that?
Well, actually, it's it's ranked. It's on a scale 1 to 10. How engaged do you feel? You know, and if people are sticking in less than sort of 6 on that question, then we sort of need to be sort of saying, well, actually, we need to sort of draw this person into the, you know, into the converted, to use your expression. Yeah. I mean,
and there's a final question that's come directly to you, Neil. Did you realise that employee ownership would be a benefit before the company transitioned?
Intuitively, I felt it was absolutely right. It was an intuitive thing. I didn't know of employee ownership in any previous sort of work experience, but it was presented up to me as an option to take the company employee owned, and I thought, oh, that just resonated personally with me. I thought it's a sense of sharing the reward rather than a sort of fat cat sort of taking the cream at the top and everyone else pedaling hard.
And adding on that, I think Neil always said, like, this is for the legacy of the future generations. That's clearly as well what we're trying to do.
Yeah, nice that.
Thank you. So Karina, once again, you were getting a lot of virtual plaudits and thumbs up and claps during
Thank
that
you very
presentation
much.
and afterwards. So thank you for doing that, answering those questions. Thank you to Neil for coming in as well and adding to that. It's very welcome and appreciated. And thank you for all for putting your questions forward. So as I mentioned, this is recorded, so we will send it out to you afterwards as well. So moving on to the next part of our virtual meeting today. Now is the opportunity for all these people you can see on your screen and on the other pages as well, for you to get to know one another a little bit more so. And there are colleagues from TensCare within those rooms, so you can dig a little bit deeper within the TensCare business as well. So how we're going to do that is through breakout rooms. Simply, we've all used Zoom Room 100 times before. So there's going to be 5 breakout rooms. These are based on your choice of topic of which you wanted to discuss when you booked. Those topics are developing an EO culture, so building on what Karina's been talking about here. Recruiting and retaining talent. Neil's talked to us a little bit there about what we're doing at TensCare. Gathering an employee opinion, and a general discussion on employee ownership. There's going to be 5 rooms because we had to create 2 rooms on the developing EO culture topic because it was so popular. Each room is going to be facilitated. I'll take one. My colleague Yogi will be taking another, and we're kindly joined by Jeremy from JGAD Associates and his colleague Lisa from JGAD Associates, and also Julie Williams will be facilitating one of those rooms as well. They're going to take notes. They're going to try and stimulate the conversation, but really it's over to you to try and make that work and make that happen. And then we'll come back together again in one room at about 12:25. Okay, so my colleague Annabelle will have been furiously putting people into rooms. So as the notification pops up, please disappear from here and go into your breakout room.